Good morning. Hi, I'm Rebecca Silvestri, VP of Sales and Marketing with Local Profile. And this is Local Leaders, an interview series with incredible local leaders sharing with us their leadership insights and how they've gotten to where they are. Today, I'm so excited to be speaking to Psyche Terry. She's the founder and brainchild behind UI Global Brands, and her keystone brand is Urban Hydration. She has products in 9,000 retail stores across the US, Target, HEB, CVS, lots of others. She's incredible, and I'm so excited to have her with us. Hi, Psyche. Nice of you to join us.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So can we get started by just finding a little bit out about your story, how you got to where you are? Because, wow, that's a lot of retail locations. That's quite a success story.
Yeah, sure. Specifically, I'm a retail guru. I love products. I love just the hunt, and I love clean beauty. I love clean hair products, clean eating products. I love anything and everything that touches my body. I want it to be healthy, and I like things that make me happy. So we wanted to create a product collection of hair care, skincare, bath and body care that could be affordable, right? For me, for my family members, for anyone that wants to live a more clean and authentic life. I wanted to be able to provide everyone with products that would be clean, but also would be affordable and were accessible. So that's the reason for the retail stores. It's because it's our mission to be in every home, everywhere, and or every purse and every car.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so here's my real question though. Lots of people have a great idea because this is a great idea. Lots of people have great ideas, but you actually took a great idea and made it a reality. So what is it that you did that so many other people don't manage to do?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of muscle and hustle, and then also honor, right? So I think it's all about definitely having an idea, but then also taking really good note of who else likes that idea, and can other people buy into that idea, and is it a sellable idea, and would I even purchase the idea, right? So we have some things that we go, well, this will be great, but if you can't convince like your BFF or your partner or your spouse to buy into that idea, then you might want to like start reworking the trimmings of it. Not necessarily the base, but at least the trimmings. In our case, I was able to not just get my husband to buy in, but I was able to get girlfriends to buy in. And then literally they bought in. They purchased initial samples from me. And they would read the label and go, you misspelled this word on this label. I love you so much, and I love the product, but we got to do some changes. So when you get buy-in, you get people's buy-in, meaning if they're not spending money, they're still spending their time, and they're still personal consultants. So we still use our customer base from now across the world on what can we change? What can we do better? What are some things you're missing? I mean, we're launching hand sanitizers, and we would have never thought of creating hand sanitizers, but our customers needed that from us, and they trusted that we could make something for them in that regime. So I think once you have an idea and you've kind of promoted the thought of, hey, here's what it is, and people have bought in, then they trust that you can do even more. It's almost like having a grandmother that can do a great apple pie, right? And you love her apple pie, and by the time she says, well, honey, I've got some sugar cookies. Do you want to try those too? Of course I do, because you're good at apple pie. So that's kind of how our brand grew. We were good at apple pie in a sense of clean body care. And other retailers said, well, how about hair care? And I go, of course I can make hair care. It's just like sugar cookies. And we went from skincare to hair care to bath and body. And we really grew, but not just with the grandmother figure, but now the great aunts and the great uncles and everyone else in the family, meaning other retailers said, I want some too. We want to share on this profit opportunity as well.
I love that. So fun. Okay, so you mentioned hand sanitizer, and I don't think before March you'd done hand sanitizer, is that right?
No, I like to call it the great dance because I love Zumba. But truly, what it's been coined over the past few months is the great pivots. So we've definitely pivoted, and so many small businesses should. There's so many small businesses, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, that have really lost their way, right? And we were one of them, where we were on our way down, down, down. And we realized that we are in a dance, and in order to dance, you've got to pivot. You can't just, if your partner turns, if you don't turn, you fall. So we thought we better turn and ensure our turn were hand sanitizers. Hey, basically same principle, adding alcohol to basically what we were already doing. Basically the same components of a lid and a bottle, same customers. So same song, different dance, and we pivoted.
That is such a great analogy. If your partner turns, pivot with them.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Okay, so what advice do you have for a small business who might be in a similar position? Maybe they still haven't figured out how to pivot yet.
Yeah. So I have been, honestly, I think what really were some of my first steps before I had this, I call it a Gustav moment of like, ta-da, here's what I'll do. I'll create hand sanitizers. I just didn't wake up that way. But what I did is I reached out to my current customers and I was really real with them. And I said, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm at home with 3 kids. Here's what I do. I do skincare well. I do retail well. I do delivery well. I've got this basis, but what do you need? Here's what I do. What do you need? And I think the minute that noticed that I opened up with my reality of here are my kids, here's me. So I opened up with just, I'm human, I'm normal, I'm not an operated machine. I have needs and I have wants. And it allowed them, I think, to open up to say, well, here are my needs and here are my wants, even as a retailer, as my customer. But even if they were a hotel or if they were just a different customer base in the restaurant industry, the same conversation can be placed of what is it that your customer needs. If they can't come into your restaurant, what are their needs? They still need food. So really walking through my customer's needs, not necessarily what I wanted my customer to need.
That is probably the best piece of business advice I've heard for a long time. Figure out what your customers want, not what you want to give them, and then give them what they want.
Yes.
Genius. I love that. Okay, so you mentioned why not? You mentioned you have 3 kids. You're in a successful businesswoman with 3 kids at home. How do you balance all of that?
With good babysitters. I think at any moment on my Instagram or on my Facebook or even LinkedIn, I've gotten so serious, I'll put a picture of us on LinkedIn. You'll see them on our packaging. You'll see them on images. It's not just about me. It used to just be about the products and the ingredients, but I've learned that my customers need to know about the story behind the story. And I have realized that in order for me to be successful, I've got to be inclusive. So I asked my husband about 5 years ago, honey, I need your help. Please, please, please leave your corporate career, come on board. He did as our CFO and now president of the company and COO. So he just came and just took a ton of titles to make sure that we were being aligned together as a family. Not only my husband, but my kids. We got real open with, mommy had a bad day today. I had some employees that just drove me crazy. And this is my kid talking to me at 7. And he's like, what happened? And I go, well, it's almost like if someone was mean to you on the playground, it would happen to me in the office today. So my kids got it at 7, 6, and 5 years old, what was going on and what mommy was up to. So I think it helps that if I needed to go visit a store while we're headed down to vacation, or if we're in Miami, or even this summer or this holiday, we went to Hawaii. And my kids were okay, at least they say they were, with a 2-mile trek to a local CVS. I wanted to go and see my products there. And We said, well, we'll spend the day walking and talking and looking at trees, and then we'll go visit the store, and then we'll go do something on the beach. But my kids weren't non-privy to it. So I think that's how we've done it, is we've allowed them to know and be a part of what we do just as much as we've allowed customers to know and be a part of what we do.
That is such a great piece of another great piece of advice. Okay, you are spitting out great pieces of advice. So if you had to give one great piece of advice to a budding young entrepreneur setting up their company, what would that be?
I like to lean in on first trusting yourself and trusting that your ideas are for a reason, and that you've been created great to create whatever it is that's on your mind. And even if it doesn't pan out, maybe a piece of that should be for something. So I really love the whole premise of believe in yourself, but even more for me is trusting in myself. And sometimes I'm my only supporter. And the fact that I support my own ideas allow me to be able to pitch it to my husband, right? Who sometimes is like, I don't know. But the fact that I am not willing to back down, the fact that I'm fierce and I am right in control of that thought of, hey, this is why it works. Here are the facts behind why it works. Here are the numbers behind why we need it. We should go after this. So when you believe in yourself, not only believe mentally, but believe factually by going through the numbers and proving out your case. And then, of course, having other people alongside you. And I like to say that's my be fierce portion. So my first thought would be to be fierce, and even fierce with yourself of, I am not letting this idea go. I am not going to stop. I'm going to continue moving forward. And then my second part is to be kind. I call it honor. We call it Terry honor or urban hydration honor, meaning just be kind, be thoughtful, be considerate of your customers, because when you're kind and considerate, I just feel like it pays back dividends, where we go from 500 stores to, like you mentioned, over 5,000, 9,000, almost 10, 15,000 stores. All of that was built out of me being fierce and not giving up and continuing to believe, but then also being kind and being responsive and considerate and honorable to not just competitors, but also customers.
I love that. Be kind, honorable, considerate. Think about your customers and what they want. It's what you already said. So true. Okay, so you are a Black-owned business, is that right?
Oh yeah, last I checked.
I mean, makes sense, right? So what are your thoughts right now on what's happening worldwide with the Black Lives Matter movement?
So interesting you ask. I remember just a few days ago, actually, wondering if I should reach out to my retailers. And I've got some phenomenal retailers, just in the blue chip sense of like, whoa, you work with all of these guys. But here's the beauty behind it. Not only do I get to work with these humongous brands with these great big titles behind them, but the buyers, those are the folks that I work with, the people that these retail corporations have hired. And what I love about those folks is that they have contributed to our company by hiring and or buying into our brand. And I am such a firm believer that it's all about that buyer, that retailer that's doing the work on the ground floor. I absolutely am all for $100 million or $1 million or 15% of your floors being dedicated because of the limelight that's happening right now. But I'd like to ask just for the consideration of, what about a year from now when the Instagram posts are quiet? Mm-hmm. What about a year from now previously, when the Instagram posts weren't mentioning how hard of a job sometimes it is for me to get a fair shot, different from a male counterpart or a white male counterpart or any other counterpart? So just from a business perspective, Black Lives Matter has this whole just unfortunate reality of the realness of going to a baseball game last night and our family of 5 being the only Black people in the entire dugout, in the entire area. But then yet there was an Indian family, and there was an Asian family, and I thought, yes, 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 yes for equality, yes for more, yes for just that proactivity of more integration. From a business perspective, again, it's my goal that more buyers, more retailers that are loud with their big checks, that was a huge check, big checks are just as integrated inside, because it's not truly the check that makes the systematic, economical, continual difference in our economy. It's truly the buyers that are adding Black-owned businesses to their collections on floors, because that's going to make the change in economy, right? When Black money, Black dollars of these Black lives that matter are being spent on products and in retailers by company owners like myself. So my hope is, I think, in all, is that more retailers are awake. And I think with some unfortunate circumstances and some retailers and some restaurants being burned down, those are super unfortunate. And let's be true, my sales go down too. If a Target burns down, my sales are down. And that's tough. I get it though. I get the loud and clear, and I am all for saying justice has to happen and equality has to happen. And I want to be very candid again in sharing, as a Black-owned business, I am super proud of a lot of the work that when you list those retailers that we're in, hey, those are the retailers that count. Those are the retailers that are investing before they did the big check. They had already started investing in Black economy, honestly, months ago, years ago, before it was an Instagram post.
Absolutely. You're just so inspiring. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any last thoughts to add?
I am just so proud of what you all are doing. Thank you so much for having me. Please continue to stay in touch. Of course, you can reach me at Psyche Terry on Instagram, and Urban Hydration is the brand that we built, and we're on Urban Hydration on Instagram as well. And anytime, if you have questions or anything, feel free to reach out via email or Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm always available and hopeful to just help entrepreneurs continue to soar.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for watching today. We'll be back next week on Tuesday at 11:30. I'll be talking to Ralph Harper. He's an author and the founder of the 2060s Project. It's a project to battle Black American inequality. So we're really excited to talk to Ralph next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.